Okay, so I think we're doing another apprentice tattooer here. I
Cool.
think that's what this is. We're getting a lot of those now.
I love it. This one looks like it's from Tyler. It says, "Hey Remy, I just recently discovered your channel and I am a fan of your content. I sent a few pictures of some tattoos I've done. I sent a few pictures of... Oh, sorry. I'm repeating myself. Short backstory on me. I am a self-taught artist. I was at a local shop for a short period of time, but long story short, it didn't work out.
No, that's a lot of the time.
I'm still tattooing on my own, even though I am tattooing on my own. I take cross-contamination / sanitation seriously. I do have my bloodborne pathogen certification.
Yeah, that's pretty easy to get hold
Right?
of.
I
would be worried if you didn't.
I have been tattooing for about 2 years, although I have been tattooing for 2 years. I only do about 1 tattoo a month on average, so I haven't done an overall huge number of
not
tattoos.
Not good for repetition.
The 2 Ghostface, the Mario Mushroom, the Terrifier, and the Vampire Fangs I tattooed on myself. Looking forward to your thoughts. Thanks. I don't know why I can't read today. Sorry, guys.
Whatever. Like, I gotta say before we even get into the tattoos, like the amount of tattoo apprentices there are these days is completely out of hand. Not to judge this person, but like it's getting insane, and like people are just, because people ask me all the time, well, why didn't you get into it, Remy? It's like there are so many fucking artists doing this that shouldn't be doing this.
I'm just gonna say that you're not an apprentice if you don't have someone that you're learning under.
Well, let me get into one that I know of recently, because like last week I had 3 applicants come in here. Just last week, 3, because it's booming. It's so many every day. People call themselves tattoo artists just because they bought a machine, you know?
Yeah, or because they have their... And I'm not trying to be offensive to you. There's a local artist in our city that calls themselves...
Pathogen is like an hour test.
They have a certification. They're certified, but it's just bloodborne pathogens. Like, you're
I've
not
had my
a certified
bloodborne
tattoo
pathogen
artist
for 11 years.
Yes, and I'm not trying to be mean. It's just.
Oh, the industry is exploding.
It's just a weird time, and like maybe there is some gatekeeping, but like
No, it's not gatekeeping. It's just I don't necessarily think this is the best time to get into this.
I'm just seeing a lot of artists that aren't doing a great job.
Yeah, there are, but like in general, even if you are, like this is the worst time to think about getting into this.
It is.
It's the worst time, and also going alongside that, there are still a lot of shops that are perfectly willing to fuck you over too.
Oh yeah.
Like we had a girl in here that Terry works on that sent in her portfolio and told me a backstory of how her apprenticeship went. It was a year of cleaning toilets, mopping up the shop, and drawing, and in the nicest possible way, basically just learned about, cleaning the shop.
Yeah, and smack talk on the shop that she came from.
And then at the end of her apprenticeship, she didn't get a spot at the shop, and she got thrown out on her ass.
Yeah, and again, no smack talk about the shop whatsoever.
Just as politely as possible told me she became a janitor for the other artists. And not only that, but paid them to be there. And at the end of it, didn't get a spot at the shop.
Yes.
So you have that.
And I don't think got to tattoo
not once. She didn't even get to use her machine. Yeah. So... I mean, when you hear stories like that, it's not surprising that people go out on their own and do this, and that's what she's done now. And the work that she's doing would be acceptable for a period of time, and I'm not to smack talk anyone, but the problem is when you go out on your own with no direction...
You're not learning from anyone.
Well, it's very hard to get any further, right? Because it's like you don't have critique happening, and that's a big problem. Like, because critique can be given by any of your peers. For me, it was left to me to give you critique a lot of the time. Like, it was just given to me to do that. Like, it was just like, well, somebody's going to have to tell you this, and a lot of times other artists don't even want to because they don't gain anything from it. So unless you have a mentor type person right there with you, it's like you're not going to be hearing the feedback that you need, because your client's not going to be like, hey, why is this line shaky and half in there? Why does this line not connect? Why is the black patchy, right? And so if you don't have somebody there that's going to do that, whether you like to hear it or not, and most people don't. There is a lot of really frail egos out there that do not like critique.
You're in a shop situation, like our shop situation, I could reach out to any of the artists in our building and say, show them what I'm doing and say, hey, what did I do wrong? And they will tell me.
They will, but they don't necessarily have, like, this is the thing, you have to ask.
I have to ask.
Right? And so you don't have anyone to ask in this situation.
No, that's the problem, like a big problem with these little artists popping up everywhere is they're just in their own little I'm so good echo chamber, but they can't put in lines.
The problem is, in this industry, it's very easy for you to think you're doing good.
It is.
Because your client is drunk. They're high on chemicals.
Oh, yeah.
You see some of the stuff people send in here, and they think it's good, and it looks like shit.
When I first started tattooing, I thought my tattoos were so nice. And then now when I look back at them, I'm like, oh, no, I'm so embarrassed.
You can't see yourself.
Yeah.
And they're like, you can't ever see what you're doing in reality.
Well, now I see it in reality. I suck.
It's always in reference to where you were, right? Or where you're going. Like, it's never like where you are. So, like, you'll look at something you did and you're just proud that you've done this thing, but it's like you're going into it with all that emotion built up around what you're looking at, and it's like, no, that's not what it looks like to other people.
No.
Right? And so in here, we foster the mentality of everyone sucks.
Yeah.
Like, and you know what? Because, like, it's very easy for the client to flatter your ego.
Yep.
And when you're at home doing this, and you're only seeing your client, and they're going, oh, that looks great, I can't believe you did that. And it's like, that starts to get in, and before long, you start to have, oh, I'm doing really well.
Doing really
it's like,
good.
No,
Everybody
then
likes my
you
work.
need somebody there to go, no, that actually looks terrible.
Yeah, or you could do this better, or whatever.
And so it's really important to seek out critique, but it's very hard to find someone who has an incentive to give it.
Yes.
Right? Like, it's because your other artists, even in your shop sometimes, they're almost better off if you're shitty.
But that's why a real apprenticeship where you have a real master-mentor relationship is good.
This isn't just tattoos. When I was in the kitchen years ago, very young, it was like, I remember hearing a guy say this, and this is something that continued on in their actions and actions of other guys around at that time, because there was a lot of money in cooking at first. There honestly was. Like, if you got a good cook, they were paid well. It was like a trade like any other. And it was like, why am I going to teach that guy how to do that? Then he gets my spot. It's like, why do I want you to know how to tattoo that? Then you can take some of my money.
Yeah.
Right? And back in the day, it was like tattoo artists were ruthlessly competitive. And now I think it's maybe even a little worse, because there's so many fucking artists that it's competing for that it's like, why would you want the guy next door to know how to do that as well as you? Because then all of a sudden they don't have to come to you, they can go to that person. So unless you have a mentor that's specifically invested in training you, sometimes even your closest friends as artists aren't going to give you honest feedback, because what is the incentive? It's like, well, then they're going to be as good as I am. There's a lot of that, and clients will know nothing about that.
No.
And they won't know anything about technique either. So with that said, let's get on to these tattoos. I feel like it's going to be similar to the last one. I see things to like in this, and I see some problems as well, obviously.
First want to say it's too small.
Well, it's very small.
Too small.
But like these apprentice tattoos should be kept small.
I know, but for the subject matter, it is too small.
Yeah, well, little faces are always not as good.
Just, pick something else.
But the solid black is a little bit patchy. The washes are obviously a bit patchy. But I have a feeling that this person knows this.
It is also a really spicy spot to tattoo on yourself.
Maybe he didn't tattoo it on himself, did he say?
I think he said these are all on himself.
Did he say that?
Yeah.
Let's see. One tattoo on average a month.
It's at the bottom.
Real problem.
Mario Mushroom, Ghostface,
Tattoo
Terrifier.
Yeah, they're all on
myself.
himself.
Yeah,
so a lot of times it's like, yeah, it's hard to send it on yourself.
Yeah.
But like, I haven't tattooed myself, I've pierced myself, and I get into deep focus when I'm doing stuff like that. It's the same as like stretching really painful piercings. I don't personally think about the pain, but I think the problem is like with tattooing sometimes, it's like having the focus and not minding the pain for a long time, right?
Some of the best tattoos I've done have been on
They have been
myself.
on yourself because you have less anxiety about tattooing yourself than others.
Well, I know if I fuck up, it's just
Some of
bullshit.
your best work is on me too, I think.
Yeah, well, because I feel way less anxious tattooing you.
So, I mean, it's going to be different for everyone.
But I think this Ghostface Pepper is really cute.
I think it's a cool idea,
Yeah.
and I think that the lines are fairly good.
Yeah, I like your mix of line size too.
Yeah, I don't think this is terrible. I think that, like I said, it's going to be hard to get much better than this, though, working once a month.
Yes.
Right? Like, that's a problem. Like, that's a bigger problem than working on your own.
Well, you would be progressing faster.
Yeah, well,
and
it's
be
hard to learn anything
more
when
comfortable
you're so far apart
when
in
you're
between
doing it every day.
sessions. It's like everything I learned from the last session is gone in the wash
Yep.
by now, and
Yep.
I'm setting up again.
Yeah, like my biggest strides as like an apprentice artist is when I'm doing a lot in a week. Like I every once in a while I have these weeks that are a little more bare bones, and those weeks, coming back from those weeks, I'm like, man, like I feel stagnant. Like I feel like I didn't learn anything last week.
Well, you need consistent discomfort.
Yeah.
Like, part of the reason why Ashlyn at our shop grew so fast is because when she came in, we were in an abundance, and I was able to book her projects that were always slightly uncomfortable, right? So it was like you're taking a step up every day, and when you're taking a step up, you don't have time to like fret about the little things.
Yep.
And the little things just come along naturally. Whereas if you just keep doing the same size, these small, very similar tattoos all the time, you're really just rounding the bases. This is what was happening with Terry when I got here. He got really proficient at doing things about this big.
Yeah, that's
So he could do them in like 10 minutes. And
where
it was
I'm
like,
headed.
it was like, okay, well, how the fuck are we going to get you opened up?
And
then,
weird placements. I get weird placements. I'm probably like the young artist in our shop that gets some of the weirdest placements.
well, you've been eating out of the trash bin.
Yeah.
Like, people don't want to hear that. Like, oh, my tattoo's not trash. Yeah, well, essentially, it's the
I've
trash
done a
bin.
lot of like sides of necks.
It's
and,
whatever
like,
whatever we
boobs.
have to spare, essentially. Like, and people don't want to hear that their tattoo is what we have to spare. And I actually value even the small tattoos.
Yeah, I do
but,
too.
I
love
haven't
them.
been able to
Some of
because
my
of
favorite.
the booking situation in mostly every shop in the city right now, because there's so many fucking tattooers in a bloated ass industry with more coming in every day. Really, like, you've been just cutting your teeth and learning your skills on small stuff, which is a good thing to do. That's when you get into bigger stuff, you'll be better prepared
Technically.
for it, right?
Hopefully.
This is seemingly the biggest thing that this person's done, and this was done on someone else, so it just goes to show you it's a little easier for them to
Yeah.
tattoo someone else for longer.
It looks a little bit angry.
Yeah, it's a little bit beat up. It's a little labored. Some of the soft shades are a little bit, you can tell they were nervous.
Yep.
Like, it's like, I'll just touch
I'm
a
just
little.
gonna just go put it in there
Just
a little
touch
bit.
a little, and it's like, yeah, but that's not a bad idea when you're early into this, because unless you'll never see this guy again in your life, you could always go back and bolden that up a bit more. You can always go light, or you can always go darker. You can never go lighter.
Yeah.
In black and gray is what they say.
Yeah.
So. you
And
know.
I always lean light, especially when I'm doing like the dainty lady tattoos. And I tell people that a lot of the times, like, I'm leaning light. If you want it darker, come back, because like I can't take away, and I don't want you to have a too dark tattoo.
Yeah, the solid black is decent, but again, it's fresh, so it's hard to say.
Yeah.
Like, you sometimes, like that eagle that Dave was working on, that looked pretty black when he did it, but I knew it wasn't going to be black when it came back. You know, sometimes you can tell those things a little easier when you see them in person.
Yeah,
You can
and
just tell how the skin is.
these ones are pretty clunky.
Yeah,
The
the
teepees.
teeth are pretty clunky and unrefined. They don't look like teeth. It looks more like the edge of a pet bowl, like a pet water bowl or
Oh
something.
yeah, or something, rocks or something. I don't
The
know.
only reason why you can tell it's teeth at all is because of the points. So I think a little more aggressive with the shading. You could shape these teeth to be a little more teethy.
Or even put the bottom teeth might make it a little more
I think they're
obvious.
still too round for that to matter.
Yeah,
to be honest
they're
with you.
they're pretty comical.
Yeah, they do.
Right.
They have a comic kind of graphic style. I don't mind that, but they just look a little bit round rather than sharp. So that's my only problem with that. I think the Plague Doctor it's decent. I think there's too many skulls, and the whole thing kind of falls apart at the bottom for me. I think that the best of it is the mask, like the
Yeah, the
and
top
hat.
half of this tattoo is not bad.
Yeah.
And then somewhere
Almost
around,
looks like two different people did it.
yeah, somewhere around the middle, right around before that cloak rip starts happening, it's just too barren there, and then all of a sudden it feels like a different tattooer. Like, yeah, too many skulls. You lost it in the design here.
Skull pile, you can arrange it in a way that implies that there are that many skulls without necessarily
Doing that many
skulls, right?
Yeah.
It's a trick of how you place the skulls. So maybe you don't need all these eyes. Maybe they're on their side or something. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You just see the shape of the skull.
Yeah,
and
or
then all
maybe
of a
the
sudden,
farther back ones are darker,
Yeah,
and they're just
there-
like the outline.
there's
or like the
ways to
shadow.
get the same result with much less effort and also much more clarity. But because there's so much of the same exact shape, it gets really, really busy all of a sudden at the bottom,
Mm-hmm.
and it makes the cloak look like it's not finished. And it really puts emphasis on how nicely done and clean the top art is compared to the bottom. Mm-hmm. It's just so much information happening down there. It almost looks like there's a cover up underneath of it. You know what I mean? Like there isn't, but like it gives you that impression of like, what are they trying to hide
Yeah,
in there?
but I
'Cause
think,
it's just
like,
so dense all of a sudden.
Generally, though, like your lines and shading are nice.
Oh yeah, this guy's not bad. And,
No.
like I don't want to dissuade. Like that mushroom is pretty cool. It's
Yeah,
got
it's
the
nice.
pixel shape to it, right? I don't ever want to say if you're a good artist and you're a good technical artist, tattooer, I don't ever want to say you shouldn't get into this, but there really are a lot of people jumping into this right now. It's so accessible and it's too accessible, right? And I think the whole thing's going to fall apart, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be so many people that get out of it as fast as they got into it. And I think that that's for the best. And that's not gatekeeping. It's just there's only so much demand in any one industry. It's like imagine if we doubled in the amount of restaurants were in the city overnight, right? It's like someone's going under. Mm-hmm. And it's not generally going to be the guys that have been around a long time. Now, you could argue that some of them should go out, and I agree. There are some old boys in this city that have never had any business tattooing. They have never once, and I have a feeling that within my first month I would do a better job. With that said, that's not going to be the case most times. Usually the brick and mortar, the established names are going to last, and a lot of the new people coming in, especially if they're not capable of enduring a very long period of slow or barren books, you know, they're not going to last. It's tough to start at the best of times, and I think right now where there are so many fucking artists getting into this, like how many apprentice applicants I've had, and
Yeah.
then apprentice tattoos
Well,
I was
and,
getting.
like, I
It's
don't
like
even wanna-
everyone and their uncle has is a tattooer now.
Yeah, and there's a lot of like, you know, I taught myself to tattoo scratcher shops where they can't even draw. They don't even have tattoos.
Well, and then they're working for an amount of pay that is less than what you would get at Walmart sometimes. It was like, oh yeah, we're doing $30 tattoos. We're doing this. It's like, yeah, after you factor in your needle cost, your overhead, you basically
Yeah.
made -$.
I
to do
hate
that
saying
tattoo.
it too because I just feel like judgmental because like then there's the older artists who like look at me and they're like, wow, your apprenticeship has been so easy because like
It has been.
yeah. But like I feel like
I
I'm
just
doing-
told you about a situation that is still on the
I
table.
know. I feel like I'm doing the exact same thing, and I clean floors.
That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I'm
but-
saying that other one that I told you about
Oh, yeah.
is the old school apprenticeship.
Yeah, a lot closer to the old school apprenticeship.
That's
for
what
sure.
happened. You did all the work, you paid them, and you got nothing out of it. And like that was too far in the other direction. But now it's like we're in both places at the same time. But this shop, if you get an apprenticeship here, this is really the best case scenario. This is about as good as it's going to get. You have community, you have people interested in your learning, You have people actively trying to make you better. No one wants to suck in here.
Oh, and we have a second shop that's located in a absolutely gorgeous city
And
where
you have
every single one of us have
a
an
built-in clientele.
open invitation to go to.
A built-in
and
clientele
stay with our boss.
to a kind of like on the busiest street in the city for the most part. So like those things can really help you get a leg up.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, however, it's such a competitive market space that it's very hard to get into a shop like that. And whoever is going to offer you apprenticeship, it's most likely going to be closer to the one I described earlier. And that's probably what already happened to this guy. And it is a shame because he demonstrates some real skill for this.
Yeah, I mean, if I was you, I would be looking at getting back into a shop.
Yeah.
I think you would really benefit from getting back into a shop, even if it's not like as an apprentice to someone, but being around other tattoo artists and learning, you know,
It's
learning
so hard,
how to put
though,
color in and stuff like that.
I don't bring people in because they're good artists typically, because I already understand that like this is a skill like any other that usually can be taught, and it is more of a skill than an art in my mind. So when we are looking for a new apprentice here, it's usually somebody that we already know, that's familiar with the shop, that I know will get along better with the artists, right? No one wants to bring an asshole in that's going to be bad energy. So unfortunately, the best thing you can do is kind of familiarize yourself with a good shop.
Yeah, go be besties with someone.
Well, not even just, but maybe just become a client, a regular, and kind of, you know, familiarize yourself with a good shop, good energy, and then, you know, that's a good way to get a good start
Yeah,
in
because
this.
then they go, oh, like,
Well, they might
we're
not have a
looking for
spot
an
that day,
apprentice.
but they might later.
Later on, and if you're over there getting tattooed like every month or whatever, you become a familiar face. You're more likely, it's true, you're more likely to get an apprenticeship at that shop. Some of the people who've brought in their apprenticeship applications at this shop, I have never seen in our shop. And I'm like, why are you, like, why bother?
Well, they're
You
looking.
don't
They're
get
just
tattooed
looking.
here.
They think that they're going to make a shitload of money tattooing, and that's why they're trying to get into it a lot of the time.
Right.
And it's that simple. And it's really not as much money as you think it is. It can be good money when you make it, but you spend a long, long time making almost nothing.
Yep, and mopping
So
floors.
yeah.